Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. I'm Dr. Kara Ong-Whaley. I'm Associate Director at the James Madison Center for Civic Engagement here at James Madison University. And I also have the privilege of being a faculty co-advisor to the Student Government Association. And we're so excited to have this discussion this afternoon about leadership at JMU and student leadership specifically. So I'm going to ask our panelists to introduce themselves with their name, major, and role in Student Government Association. And we're going to start off with Michaela.
Hi everyone, my name is Michaela Dukes. I am a political science major with minors in public policy and administration and sociology, and I currently serve as the speaker of the Student Government Association.
Hi everyone, my name is Anna Knoll. I am a senior political science and communication studies double major, and I have a minor in honors interdisciplinary studies, and I'm the legislative affairs chair for the Student Government Association.
Hi everyone, my name is Emily Baker. I am a senior political science and English major, and I serve as the membership chair for the Student Government Association.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Gardner. I'm currently a junior mathematics major with minors in secondary ed and environmental studies here at JMU, and I'm the University Services Chair in SGA.
So thank you all. We are so excited for this discussion. I wonder if we can start our discussion with this question. What does leadership mean to you? And how has your JMU education and experience prepared you with leadership capacity and skills? And for this question, we'll start off with Anna, and then Emily, then Daniel, and then Michaela.
Certainly. When I think of leadership, I think of, relationship with the community. Leadership has to be open communication and understanding between different types of people, and all that creates a community. And I think JMU as a whole, the climate here really promotes that. And then in curriculum, I think, I learned a lot of technicals with leadership, such as public speaking and how to communicate with people from different backgrounds and really be empathetic to where different people come from. But then there was also, kind of the building of personal leadership and how to really believe in yourself as a leader. And that's what I got a lot in my political science courses, and the general education courses here, I think really just make you believe in yourself as a leader and give you the ability to work well with others.
Wow, I'm not sure I can follow that one up. I think to me, leadership here at JMU is like a million small moments. It's about who gets there early and stays late just to help out. And having a leadership role to me is more about how you can best support and guide individuals to reach a collective goal. And something that's really special to me about the environment here is that leadership is super collaborative and not competitive. And so we all serve on the leadership team of the Student Government Association, and no one's competitive, it's all collaborative. And my coursework has really helped me find my way into leadership by empowering me and giving me skills that I didn't know I had, making me take the time to sit down and listen to individual stories and understand that there's a better way to approach things, especially in the English department. Love you guys, and that's it.
Yeah, I guess leadership to me is, finding who you are as a person and who you see yourself as a leader. I see that everybody has their own leadership style that is unique to themselves. So understanding yourself, I think, is a very important part of that. And also here at JMU, they give you so many opportunities to work on, and Emily touched on collaboration. That is one of the major things that we do here at JMU, through my coursework in either education or in my STEM work, giving you opportunities to collaborate with others helps you grow as individuals and grow as leaders. So you find ways to support others and also just to give into groups and different things.
It's so hard to follow each of those responses, but leadership to me, I guess it kind of It's been an experience of trying to kind of bring together people from different walks of life to work towards a particular common goal. And while kind of like leading those individuals, helping them kind of tap into their own potential and discover what they're particularly passionate about. I would say my JMU education and experience has certainly prepared me to become a better leader, solely due to the interdisciplinary kind of like structure of our courses. A lot of the courses that I've taken, we look at things from various lenses, and that will by default expand your perspective on things, and just gaining those different perspectives, learning about individual stories, that definitely helps you lead individuals from different walks of life, just because you're more compassionate, more understanding, and more empathetic, and things like that. I think that's one of the key aspects of being a great leader. So definitely through those educational experiences, and also in just being on this campus, the amount of opportunities that are afforded to us and are presented to us, they're innumerable. So definitely just being in this environment has definitely helped develop me as a leader.
You all are so amazing. I'm going to cry this time. So my next question for you all is actually two parts. What excites you most about Student Government Association? And can you tell us about the important role that SGA plays in advocating for students at JMU? And as you're answering that, I wonder if you might also think of an example of how you have worked through SGA to advocate and demonstrate our campus motto of being the change. And for this question, we're going to start with Emily as our first respondent.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, Kara. When I joined SGA, I didn't really have a particular purpose in mind. And I really have found it along the way due to the support of all the individuals in this organization who are so passionate about so many different things. It excites me to be around every single person in SGA. And everybody has such great ideas to change things on this campus for the better. I honestly, my example that's coming to mind is actually kind of small, but we have a Southwest turkey burger that I loved at one of the dining halls, and they took it away in fall of 2019. And through SGA, the University Services Committee met with dining services and was able to bring my favorite burger back. And that is a tiny example based and it's like out of the norm for like the normal like larger scale stuff that we do. But again, like it's about making the JMU experience better for each student along the way. So I really appreciated that. Somebody else go.
I guess for me, just coming into like SGA, there are two things that really caught my eye. It's just like the amazing community that we have in this organization of people who really want to get involved and like push for better on this campus. They're willing to advocate and push for things that are to be improved for all students on our campus, and push for different things like inclusivity, especially on our campus. So that really was like really motivating for me when I joined, and like just it like got me going and like really excited about getting into the organization. And then also just like the amount of different ways you can get involved. There's so many different facets of our organization if you want to get involved in. So if you want to get involved into legislative affairs and go work and try to lobby in different things. If you want to work with what Emily said, with dining and different things, University Services can help you go work with departments and different things. If you want to work with the dean and provost, we have opportunities that for like just the vast opportunities and different ways you can get involved and really actually make change. Was something that I didn't exactly see until I got into the organization, and just like with so many opportunities, there's so much actually to get done and different things. For a specific example, I guess last year I worked with environmental sustainability on campus at running one of our ad hoc committees, and really just providing student voices to we have an Institute for Sustainability at the Natural World, and they were making a new 5-year plan. So with communicating with them, we got to provide student input on their next 5-year plan, which I think was a a really interesting discussion, and really can have really major impacts over the next 5 years.
I guess I'll go. So what excites me the most about SGA, I think just seeing individuals' development. I think that's mainly because I'm the speaker of the organization and I'm focused on internal affairs, but just seeing our members develop from maybe often like timid or just more quiet individuals to tapping into their potential and understanding what they're passionate about, and then becoming advocates for those particular issues, specifically within the realm of campus life and student affairs. I think that's been the most exciting thing with regard to SGA. And then an example of how SGA has kind of demonstrated the motto of being the change. So SGA, we really do promote engagement, whether that's civic engagement or like community engagement. We just really love to see students engaged. And I think JM, like we kind of demonstrate that through the events that we host. And one specific example, through our diversity and inclusion committee, we often have this event called I2MJMU, and we are typically showcasing or highlighting the experiences of a particular demographic that's typically like marginalized. And I believe it was last year, maybe the year prior, we highlighted the experiences of those within the LGBTQ plus community. And I remember inviting a couple of my friends that I knew weren't super knowledgeable on the community, or just those within the community and those experiences, and just listening to them before and after. And that was just like one small example, how their like perspectives had like expanded significantly just from coming to that event. That's just one example of how SGA really promotes that that idea of being engaged and being the change. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I echo all of what's been said before, and so many things excite me about SGA, but I think what's sticking in my mind right now is the fact that, you know, each individual person will have their own role, maybe their own chair positions here, but you always get to, if you look to your left, you look to your right, there's great things happening by each of those individuals. So, you know, it's that like team effort of I'm handling this and someone else is handling the advocacy somewhere else. And all together, that means a lot of people are getting their voice heard. And it's just a great and exciting thing every day to be able to see that and have those same people be your peers. So you get to be like proud of them at the same time. But I think, I mean, advocacy specifically pertains a lot to my position as running the Legislative Affairs Committee. So, I mean, I talk about our external advocacy, and that's the part of, you know, we're here to uplift student voice. And through my committee, we both see advocacy of, one, getting students more engaged with voting in general, which, I mean, you can see that tangible outcome more than anything, I think, of just, you know, how many students went out to vote. But we also do that with, you know, students don't exist in a bubble to the rest of the world. And, you know, we get state funding, we have passions of our own that legislators, we take trips to Richmond and Capitol Hill in DC, and sitting in those rooms advocating on behalf of students as a part of the Student Government Association, I can see that we have an impact on, you know, lobbying for legislation and getting our students' voices from, you know, our Harrisonburg campus out into other areas so we can really have a bigger impact.
Thank you all so much. You're doing such amazing work, and it is just exciting to see the impact that each of you are making as individuals, but also as a collective. And I love that you raised the notion of how collaborative we are in trying to get things done and to uplift and advocate to make the experience better for everyone and more inclusive. So I have one more preset question. And for those of you who are tuning in live, we hope that you'll ask questions. So please post in the chat and we will ask, we will give those questions to our panelists. So think on those questions and start posting. In the meantime, this next question: how can and why should incoming students get involved in SGA right away? And for this question, we're going to start off with Daniel.
Thanks, Kara. So there's many different ways that students can get involved, especially when incoming first-year students. There's basically two different portions of our organization. There is the Senate body and the class council side. So you can run for seats in class council when you get to JMU as a freshman, and then at the end of the next year, you would rerun for that. And then also you can apply to be in part of our Senate, either senator or representative. I think the reason why I think incoming students should get involved with SGA right away is it gives so many different opportunities for them to get into leadership, and leadership isn't just holding a position and different things. There's so much more that goes into being even in a supportive role in a group setting. There's so many opportunities that SGA gives you to work on being a supportive person, and also just learn who you are as a leader and grow as yourself as a leader. As I said in my first question, I think it's really important to understand yourself to be in becoming a leader. And I think that being a leader is such a growing process, and I'm still personally as a junior still growing at myself into my leadership role that I currently am. So just when you get involved early, you get so much more opportunity to actually learn and grow in the organization.
I would second everything that Daniel's saying. I think, why should you get involved right away? I think, why wait? There's so many amazing people within this organization, and there's so many opportunities to take advantage of, and there's so much to learn that coming in maybe as a first year or second year, you set yourself up for the rest of your Madison experience to be exposed to these amazing opportunities. I would say, how can you get involved? So Daniel really touched on the membership portion, but you could also get in touch with us virtually and get involved with us online. So via social media, on Instagram and Twitter, we're JMU_SGA. We're always having programs or events. So we post all of our events there. We do educational programming. We do kind of advocacy related programming, and then we also do some fun programs through our class council avenue. So there's tons of ways to get involved. Those are the kind of ways to get involved virtually. Definitely show up to our events, whether they be virtual or in person. They're worthwhile. But yeah, that's all I have.
Yeah, I certainly would echo what was said before, and those technical avenues of joining the organization are certainly important, that Daniel already explained thoroughly. So I think I would go with incoming students. There's a little bit of a delay when you come to JMU and then before the application process starts or you want to run. And I mean, SGA is here to be the voice for the whole student body. So there's no reason you can't come and become, a part of our conversation and give us input, get involved, ask, can you put on this event? A lot of our biggest pieces of advocacy on this campus, in our history, have been ideas from students that they brought to the people that hold the positions, and together they created something. And so when you come to this campus, I mean, it's a great way to meet people and to figure out what you really want to do in your 4 years. And then also possibly, where do you want to enter student government? Do you want to apply? Do you want to go to class council? And those things are best figured out, when you just start talking to the organization right when you get here.
I'll echo everything that every single person has just said. But on a more emotional note, why incoming students should get involved in SGA? I really only started enjoying my college experience when I got out of my shell and my comfort zone. And I would advise any incoming student to join any organization. I would love it if it was SGA, but there are so many student organizations that can be your home and that have leadership opportunities. I went to a smaller high school, and I knew the same students K through 12. And when I came to JMU, I was really overwhelmed, and I luckily joined SGA, and it has become my home ever since then. but you don't really need to have a specific goal or purpose to join SGA, because SGA is a truly all-encompassing organization and it can fit any interest or major. Like if you're a business major, we have a finance committee that distributes large amounts of money to student organizations and programming. Or if you're a political science major, we have a legislative affairs committee that deals with advocacy. And so there's truly so much you can do in SGA. And I think it's a great way to discern your path at JMU.
Thank you all so much. So if you're tuning in, we would love to answer your questions, any questions you have for these amazing student leaders at JMU. But while we wait for some coming in, I want to ask you all, looking back, if there's something that you wish you knew before you came to JMU, what advice would you give yourself? And this time we're going to start with Michaela, then Anna, Emily, and then Daniel.
Awesome. So what advice would I give to myself just coming to JMU? I think I would tell myself, and I use this a lot, but I would tell myself to like say yes to more, and don't hesitate. Because at least within the context of JMU, there are so many opportunities, whether it's like to get involved or just to observe and learn, whether it's to like participate in the community service or anything like that. Like everything that I've said yes to, I've not regretted, and I've taken away so much from them, whether I've met a person that I'm still best friends with, or whether I've gained a piece of knowledge that has like helped me to this day, or I've made some sort of connection or anything like that. So I would definitely say yes to opportunities and experiences, and just to also be present. I feel like it's easy to just kind of breeze through college, and just, with all the deadlines that come and go, and the exams and the essays and things like that. But if I could tell my incoming first year self, would just be to slow down, enjoy it while it's here, because the 4 years go by very fast, and you don't want to miss it.
It's a tough question, but I think I'm going to go with to not sell yourself short. I think a lot of first years can stand back and watch, which is perfectly, it's a great thing to do, but I think you only have 4 years here, and whether it be like intimidation that you might be afraid to ask for help, or like to go to a more senior leader to see if you can get involved. JMU provides such great resources to be able to assist you in anything you want to do. And so, yes, when you get here, you might not know, which office do I contact, or every step of the way. But if you have like a big idea or something that you want to create, you want to start a new organization on campus, anything like that, I mean, you earned your place on this campus, like your first day here. So, you're a member of the community too, and just go for it. It's never too early to start.
I love that. Thank you so much for saying that, Anna. And I think what I would tell my incoming first year self is that, like, it's okay if it takes time to find your place, or you can change your major. Like, I have changed my major like 5 times, and I am still going to graduate on time. And that things generally work themselves out. And I would also echo Anna's point, saying that, like, don't be afraid to reach out. When I was younger, I was super afraid to reach out to anyone about anything. I waited to be invited instead of taking the agency to, like, find what I wanted to do, or like see if anybody wanted to go to dinner downtown. And I was too scared. I was worried of being a bother. And I was also scared to reach out when I was struggling, like academically, socially, or emotionally. And so, like, once I got out of my comfort zone and found my voice, it made my JMU experience so much better. And I would also say that resiliency and grit matter a lot more than temporary things. And there are going to be setbacks in college, and that's okay. That's not really related to SGA, but just advice.
Yeah, I guess everybody's brought up such great points. I think for me, similar to what other people on the panel have said, just like it is a short time being in college. So, um, but something said to me this past summer, just like, especially with everything going on, just like your ability to be adaptable to situations and different things. Things rarely go exactly to plan, even in normal circumstances. So even in my like first and second year here at JMU, like nothing ever goes exactly as to plan. So being like being able to adapt to situations, also just like reaching out to others is I think very important. Like reaching out to groups and friends and different things. Saying yes to things. More than likely, like if like friends are saying like asking you to do something, even like going and doing things is like just you get to meet so many new people, and I think that like meeting new people is such an like integral part of what I've done in college, and I think it's like such an amazing thing you get to do, and it's kind of like a once in a lifetime thing because like there's no other place that you're gonna be able to meet the amount of people you do here. So going out and like saying yes to going out and meeting new people, also just like reaching out to professors and different things. Make sure you're trying to keep a relationship with them. A group of them, they are your biggest help later when you're asking for references and different things. That is definitely like once you're like applying for jobs and different things, they're like a really great resource. Also, they're always there to help you. So like when you have a close relationship with them, even if they're not your professor anymore, just going to talk with them. There's some of the can provide you some of like the greatest advice and different things.
Those are all such amazing insights. And I agree, Daniel. It is so important to make those connections with your professors and not be afraid to take advantage of office hours or just to reach out. That is one of the things that as a professor I love about JMU, is the time that we get to spend with our students and to make those real connections. And yes, we love to write letters of recommendation later, but I know that as a professor, I learn just as much from my students. And it's really an environment that we like to be co-learners and co-creators. And that's something that makes JMU really unique, I think. And that kind of culture that we have here. We have a question from the live, and if you're tuning in, please do also still ask questions. We still have some time. This one comes from Samantha. Do you guys host leadership workshops? And Michaela?
Yes. So as an organization, we typically don't explicitly host external like leadership development workshops. However, one of the things that we've discussed quite frequently is collaboration. So there's actually an organization, there's a center for the Student Leadership Center here on campus. So we do have them facilitate some programs that we host internally for our members. We've had folks come in from the Student Leadership Center to facilitate learning our DISC profiles and things like that. But within our organization, we also host kind of like new member things, if that makes sense. So we teach our new members how to write resolutions, how to be advocates, how to kind of do outreach on campus and things like that. And I feel as though those kind of programs, while they're not specifically defined as like leadership workshops, they definitely do contribute to leadership development. In addition to that, we also do have a mentor-mentee program within our organization. So each new member is paired with an older member, and they kind of teach them the ropes of the Student Government Association and just JMU as a whole. They do help develop their leadership skills and help them kind of tap into that potential that I keep often referring to. But that's kind of what we've done in the past. But I know Emily has some experience with regard to leadership within SGA as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that lead off was to, but I would love to talk more about, especially the mentor-mentee program. My relationship with my mentor in SGA has been so meaningful to me over the last 4 years. And I know my mentor, Sophie, supports me in every single thing that I do. And also that the SGA community supports me in every single thing that I do, especially pursuing leadership roles in other organizations as well, because you can be an SGA and be in other things too, and that even enriches your experience in SGA. and that way you have more things to advocate for. Not more things, but like you can develop outside passions to advocate for.
So thank you for everyone who is tuning in. We're excited to have you here. We hope that you will come join us on campus next year. While we're waiting for questions, we hope you'll post them. I want to ask you all, what has been your most meaningful Madison experience that you don't think you would have gotten anywhere else? And for this one, we're going to start off with Anna.
This is a super hard question. There are so many meaningful experiences I've gotten here, and I know it sounds silly, but it's just true. So I think I will go with the Washington semester experience I had. It's a program that it kind of works like an abroad program, but it's to Washington, D.C. So students go there. It's a cohort of around 16 to 20 students, and they have the opportunity to live in downtown D.C., right like 10 minutes from Capitol Hill, or you can live at home and commute if you're a regional resident. And you hold a full-time internship as well as take classes. So you're still a full-time student. And I think what that experience really like brought in terms of like talking to prospective students right now is just, I've found that in every experience like that, that might be, that was something that I was personally passionate about. I got to spend a semester working in government, around government. That's something I want to do in the future. And it just gave me that hands-on professional experience while meeting so many great people. But it really embodied what JMU does best. And that's no matter where you are. So whether you're on an abroad, like a local abroad experience like this one, or on campus, everything has this perfect combination of like professional development with friendship and academic excellence. Like our courses were great, and we had GW professors coming in and just giving us the best knowledge possible, all around something that you're passionate about, and trying to find each student's like path and giving them that experience all at the same time. And so I think it really embodied like the Madison experience in general. And one other thing I'll highlight there is that my favorite Madison experiences have been interactions that involve our networks. So that Washington semester specifically would include our alumni networks. We had extensive, experiences having luncheons or like workshops with them. And that's just something that as soon as you get into the JMU community, you realize that nothing beats JMU alumni. No one is more helpful than a past Duke. I mean, the amount of doors that have been opened just from me, like cold emailing an alumnus, is just insane. And so Washington semester really highlighted that as well.
Yeah, going off of that and what we were talking about earlier, I think one of the most quintessential parts of my Madison experience has been the relationships with my professors. Like, I've just been trying to think through this, and I can say so many times when I have walked into a professor's office, not even to talk about class, and have so thoroughly enjoyed that conversation. For example, I walked into Dr. Schill's office to ask him what for, Anna and I were talking about this yesterday, ask him like what 4 test questions I got wrong, and we ended up talking for an hour and a half, where he helped me discern what my goals actually were for my major and minor, and a path to a career that like I definitely am still very interested in and could like. And I think that's happened to me so many times, and I think I have found nothing but support here at JMU, and I think a lot of other places lack that, and so that is what is so special to me.
Yeah, I guess for me, it's really hard to pick one specific thing. There's just so many different experiences that I've had, even over the past like 2.5 years here on campus. But I think the one that I would go with was this past year working as a first year orientation guide. Personally, for me, that was an amazing way for me to like give back to the community and also work with the incoming students for this year's incoming freshmen, just like to work and give back to them on like how to best transition to life here on campus in Harrisonburg and different things. That was just like an amazing experience. That whole week was like one of the longest weeks I've ever had in college, and definitely was one of the most best and rewarding experience I've had on campus. So I do recommend it if you ever get the chance to do it. It's a lot of work, but it is very rewarding. It also just like provides you so many opportunities to like work as a mentor. So a lot of times in college you work as a like some helps people help and mentor you. So this was a real opportunity to like help and mentor a group of students who are just coming into experience something you have experienced recently. So like that kind of experience just like I thought was really amazing.
Yeah, I think I'll have to touch off of what Emily Baker was sharing about her relationship with her professors. That has honestly been one of the most memorable experiences for me. I like in all of the courses that I've had, even in my classes where there's been like a decent amount of students, maybe like I want to say like 100 or 120 students. My professors have always like been more than willing to extend an open arm. They're willing to listen. They're willing to just sit there in their office and talk about like non-school related things, which have honestly impacted me in more ways than you could even imagine. I'd say one of my professors, Dr. David Daniel, he was my professor my first year. We still maintain regular contact. He's always checking in, emailing, or I'm stopping by his office. Just and just that interaction, I can't even imagine like experiencing something like that is somewhere else. You know, like JMU, we're known for being like the friendly city. Within the friendly city, like JMU is all about like relationships, and there is that JMU spirit that everyone is just they're kind, they open doors, and like those doors I think have been opened not just like literally but figuratively through like campus organizations, through our classes, through our interactions with our professors. And I think I just cannot say enough about JMU professors and how amazingly helpful they are. Yeah.
Okay, I have one final question for you all before we close this out. What class would you say changed your perspective on the world, and would you recommend is a must take to any future Dukes?
All right. I have like 7 of them that I want to say, but I'll try and keep it short. I think the class that most directly changed my personal life and perspective is English 248 with Dr. Brooks Hefner. I took it randomly as a gen ed freshman year. And I loved every single lecture. Like I missed one day because I had the flu, and I was actually sad to not go to my gen ed lecture. I think Dr. Hefner taught the class with like such great care. And again, this was freshman year, so I was too scared to speak to anybody. So I never spoke to him once throughout the entire class, besides like a good morning, or like asking a question in class. And at the end of the semester, he actually took the time to email me and say that like he thinks that I would be a good English major. And that meant so much to me because I didn't really have a lot of confidence in myself at the time. And I, again, was too scared to say anything. So I didn't email him back for like 6 months. And when I emailed him back for 6 months, we talked in his office hours for like an hour, and he was so supportive. He is the reason I'm an English major. And then also, again, my other favorite class that changed my outlook on the world the most was English 360, I think. It was Ethnic American Literature with Dr. Allison Fagan. And in this class, it was a collaborative project with our class members, JMU Libraries, and the Harrisonburg community, creating a podcast cataloging immigrant narratives in the Harrisonburg community. And to get out into the community to learn, like, how JMU can help the community, and also take the time and hear the individual stories of people you would never meet otherwise, was so meaningful. And as well as the literature was really amazing. And I still think about like one of the poems we read like once a week. So that's gonna be it for me.
I guess for me, I think there's two different courses. One is there's ISET 290 course, like integrated science and technology course, that's based on like looking at the world from a system viewpoint, so understanding systems and different things. So that whole class was based around understanding problems, not as this like a simple like one issue problem, that problems fall under these world systems and like fall into different systems. So that just changed my whole view on like when you're thinking about problem solving in like everyday life on like major world problems, and not as like that these problems are individual events and different things, that they fall into these major systems that we need to look at to make sure we're not having unintended consequences and different things from our actions. So that was one that major like changed a lot of my major global viewpoint on a lot of issues. And then I had took one of my education courses was Education 310, teaching in a diverse society. So that one just like um, in that course we did a lot of talking to people of different backgrounds, and also a portion that was a portion of that course was doing service. So you had to pick a group in the community and do 6 hours of service throughout the semester and reflect on that. So we got to go to our local Mercy House, our community place, which is a homeless center in the city of Harrisonburg, and then also the Discovery Children's Museum in Harrisonburg. So got to see a lot more different facets of our local community, I think, which really changed my view of like how great like our area is around here, and see all the great work that people are doing in the community to really help those folks who are less fortunate, and then also the children in our community.
All right. I think the one class that really changed my perspective on the world, it was a writing, rhetoric, and technical communication class. It was a cluster 1 general education course, which is essentially a course that all first years have to take. And the class essentially, it was a writing course. It was an intro-level writing course, but we essentially were tasked with partnering with a local nonprofit or a local like a community organization, and really first learning about their mission and their function within the community, and just writing about them on a consistent basis as if we were kind of like a news outlet, if that makes sense. But it did require some site visits, and just interviews and speaking with members of the community that had been impacted by by those organizations. So I would say that class really helped me understand the connection between James Madison University and the surrounding community, because I feel like it's so easy to just surround yourself with solely JMU, and that can be your like sole purview. But it really just helped me make those connections of the community, and how the community contributes to our environment, how we contribute to the surrounding community, and how we kind of need to be aware of the space that we take up, but also recognize and celebrate like the community for what it is. And it definitely helped me get my kind of foot in the door with service in the area, in like the Harrisonburg surrounding area, and just really helped me understand the importance of like not just existing in one particular geographic location, but kind of like living in it and meeting the people and just learning so much. So that's definitely something I'm going to take wherever I go after graduation, whether I'm going back home or whether I move somewhere else. I'm just going to always keep that in my mind and always try to really be intentional about my involvement in the community.
Yeah, to finish us up on this question, I'm going to have to go with two as well. The first one is a leadership course within the Honors College that focused on gender and leadership. And I think it had such an impact because it did an amazing job with connecting historical markers of like the changes of the interaction of gender and leadership. And you got to get that sense of just like the position of where we are today compared to where we were in the past. But within that, it really gave individual efficacy and I like as a female leader, it was really important to me as like to see my place in where we are in history, but then also what can be done currently about, like uplifting yourself in the position you may be, so your own identity. And it took a look of like, what can male leaders do compared to female, and all of that. And I think honors courses always do a great job with connecting a lot of like basic academia and like definitions and things like that to your individual place in the world. And then the next one is going to be media and politics, which is taught by three amazing professors currently: David Jones, Ryan Alessi, and Dan Schill. They like rotate teaching it. I don't know, but any of those professors are amazing. And that course, it might turn a lot of people off if you don't think you're like into politics, but it's taught for SMAT. The School of Media and Design students, School of Communication Studies, and political science students all take this course, or it's an option for them. And what it does is it just shows how every day with information literacy, like how you can use your like critical thought processes and all of that just to contribute back to, the world around you, just within the way you communicate and talk about issues that matter to yourself, but then issues that matter to other people. And even when they conflict, just what that can mean for, a productive society, I guess.
I would also like to second media and politics. That was literally one of my favorite classes I've ever taken. And it really makes you think about how we interact with media in the world around us. And also here we talked about a lot of courses that get involved in the local community, but I would also like to hype up study abroad. I studied abroad twice over the summer, and there are so many options at JMU to study abroad, and I would recommend it to every single person. I studied abroad in the political science major. Oh no, can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. I looked like I was frozen for a second. I studied abroad in the political science major in Austria, Bosnia, and Croatia with Dr. Halsey, and there is not a day that goes by that I don't think about what I learned there and applying it to my core studies now. So I think it really broadens your perspective. So I would recommend going abroad in any capacity if you have means.
I echo that as well.
Michaela Dukes, Anna Knoll, Emily Baker, Daniel Gardner, thank you so much for sharing your insights, your advice, your expertise, and your experiences with us this afternoon. It's really such an honor and a privilege, and I say this from the bottom of my heart, to know each one of you. And I'm so proud to see how you are living out our motto every day of being the change. Thank you so much for everything. If you are tuning in, we would love to hear from you. I think we mentioned the email before, but if you want to get in touch with SGA, it's sga@jmu.edu is the email that you can reach any of our panelists. And if you have other questions about coming to JMU or about leadership experiences, please feel free to reach out. For more information, we also encourage you to visit jmu.edu/admissions. And also previous programs are available at jmu.edu/open house. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you next year at JMU. Go Dukes!